Yo guys, what's popping? Today I'm going to be ranking every single fruit in Blox fruits from best to worst. There are 39 fruits in the game, so this could confuse you which is the best for PvP and grinding. I will be ranking these on three main things: damage, visuals, and how affordable it is. Before we do begin, if you want to have a chance to win a dark blade for completely free, then you will need to subscribe, like, and watch this video until the end. First fruit of the video, and we have a rocket. This is the fruit that sadly replaced the OG kilo fruit. And I must say the damage is actually really good, judging by how it's literally the first fruit in the game. It has 4 moves in total and the visuals are pretty good too. It costs 50 Robux or 5,000 Pelly. I will be ranking this fruit on good tier. Next up we have the spin fruit. Let's test out the damage. And it does do decent damage. 2k on the first moves and 4k on the air slasher. This fruit can actually fly too, so let's test that out. And it okay, I guess. It costs 7,500 Pelly and 75 Robux. I still do think rocket fruit was better, so I will be putting this in the May tier. Next up we have the mythical chop. And if you don't know already, Buggy uses this in one piece. And with this fruit no sword attacks can touch you. The damage is pretty good too. This is the first fruit that someone might use for a combo, since you're literally immune to all sword attacks, which is just insane. The visuals are good, I guess. The body does split and stuff, which is pretty cool. It costs 30,000 Pelly and 100 Robux. I think that's really affordable. I will be ranking this in the good tier. Next up we have spring fruit. It has 5 moves and the damage is okay, but the moves are pretty slow and anyone can dodge them. The visuals are straight up terrible. They need to give it better visuals with the next update. I personally don't like it that much. Its price is 60,180 Robux. I will be putting this fruit in trash. I just don't think it's worth the price. Next we have bomb fruit. Okay, firstly the damage. It's straight up crazy. The first move does 4k damage, second one does 3k, third one literally places a ton of landmines in a large area. The damage is insane on this one. The last 2 moves are decent too. The visuals on this are an S. The price is 80,000 or 220 Robux. I think that's really affordable too. I will be putting this in the good tier because even though the damage is good, I just don't see it going into great tier. Next up we have a fruit I have used a lot, and I'm talking about smoke. It is a Logia fruit, so NPCs which are lower level than you cannot hurt you. The moves deal insane damage too. Like, you can't tell me that's not good damage. The good thing about it is that you can literally use a sword and the NPCs will still not be able to hurt you since it's a Logia fruit. The visuals are pretty basic though. The flight does do damage and it's pretty decent, so I like that about it. And now for the cost. 100,000 or 250 Robux. I will be ranking this on the good tier. Next we have spike fruit. The damage isn't that good on this one. The reason it did 9k damage with that one move is because there were a lot of NPCs in it. Now for the rest of the moves. The damage is okay, but the visuals are good on this one, so at least that's something good about it. However, I don't see people doing combos with this. It's generally really slow, and if you go in the air you can simply dodge every single attack. I don't even recommend this for grinding. No clue when you'll actually use this. The spikes coming out the floor are pretty sick, but it's pretty slow. Now for the price. It costs 180,000 or 380 Robux. I'm going to be ranking this in trash. Next we have flame fruit. Fun fact, I did awaken this in a previous video which you can watch on my channel. And after I awakened it I was left shocked. The damage is extremely good. And when it is awakened all the flames are blue. And look at this V move, guys. Tell me that isn't the best thing you've seen. I love this fruit. It's a Logia and the visuals are straight up fire. The price is 250,000 or 550 Robux, which I think if fully worth it. This is the first fruit that I will be ranking in the great tier. Next fruit we have is falcon. It can fly and flaps its wings, which is good on the visuals side. Now for the damage test. The damage isn't the best. Even the V move has trash damage. The visuals aren't that bad though. Let's hurry from this fruit because I don't like it one bit. The attacks are slow and weak. And it costs 300,000 or 650 Robux, which I think is an absolute waste of money. I will be ranking this in trash. Next up we have the ice fruit. I can't even get started on this fruit. It's insane. I have awakened this fruit too in a previous video, and I'm going to show you a little funny clip. We were testing the damage and killed this guy before, and bro, he started eating all his mythical fruits for no reason. I'm moving on. The damage is really good and I tried a combo with this one and it was pretty good if I do say so myself. I really like this fruit and the visuals are insane. They could be better, but I like it. The moves deal a ton of damage and stun your opponent so they are unable to move. You can walk on water too. And best of all, it is a Logia fruit. The price to pay for this amazing fruit is 350,000 or 750 Robux, which I think is worth all the money. The amount of times I've seen 30 millions use this just says it all. I will be ranking this in the great tier. The next fruit is sand, and the visuals are really good on this fruit, and the damage is decent. You can fly with this fruit and it's pretty quick, so I see this as a W if you are a beginner. Fun fact, I used this in a noob to pro video when I was really low rank and it was really good. You'll see that video coming soon. The price to pay is 420,000 or 850 Robux, which is a bit pricey. I will be ranking this fruit on good tier. The next fruit is dark. The visuals are insane on this one, and I am a big fan of the damage. This fruit is a Logia, and it probably has the best visuals we have seen so far. It reminds me a bit of Dark Blade. The V move on this is sick. Straight up perfection. I have seen a ton of bounty hunters using this, which means it's really good for PvP too, and it costs 500,000 or 950 Robux, which I think is a decent price for it. I will be ranking this in the good tier. Next up we have the diamond fruit. You can encrust your body, which looks pretty sick, so that is a W for visuals. Now for the damage tests. The damage isn't the worst. Like, this move does deal a ton of damage once you keep it pressed, but that will be way too slow if you are using it for PvP. Overall the damage is alright. The visuals are not that bad either, but I do think fruits like Flame and Ice beat this in an instant. The price is 600,000 or 1,000 Robux, which is a lot of Robux. I personally think this isn't a fruit you should waste your money on, so I will be ranking this fruit in May. Next up we have the mythical light fruit. This is used by Kizaru. This is Awakened kind of, but let's test out the damage. 3k on the first one. You can literally stand in the sky and shoot down light beams, which is just so sick. The next move did 5k. The damage is pretty good. It is also a Logia, which will help you level up if you want to grind. And now for the flight. Once you awaken it, you can control where you fly, which is really cool. The visuals are insane on this. It is one of the fastest fruits in the game, but Kitsune stole the #1 spot sadly. It does cost 650,000 or 1,100 Robux, which I think is fully worth it, since you can travel anytime you want at the speed of light. I will be putting this in the great tier. The next fruit we have is the rubber fruit. Luffy, who is the main character, uses this. The damage without second gear isn't that bad, but now when we do enable second gear, the damage is pretty good. Mainly the Gatling. The visuals are not the best though. They could have done better, judging by how this should be the best fruit in the game. Okay, little side note, is it just me or did they put rubber too low? Like, it should at least be mythical. It does make you immune to rumble, electric, and guns, which is not bad. Like, even as max level you could use this, so soul guitar doesn't affect you. The price to pay for this 750,000 or 1,200 Robux, which I don't think is worth it just yet. Maybe after they do a rework. The reason I think that is because there's a lot more fruits which cost less and are way better. I will be ranking this in the great tier only because it's immune to guns and electric. Now the next fruit is barrier. The damage is okay with this one. I'm not a big fan of some of the moves though, since I do think they are pretty slow. Like, you can be dodging them easily. The visuals are really good though, so that's good at least. The price of it is 800,000 or 1,250 Robux. I'd rather not pay that much for it, so I will be ranking this in May tier. Next fruit we have is Ghost. This has been fully reworked recently. I am a big fan of this fruit. The visuals are straight up an S tier, and the damage on this is insane. This is my favorite move, let me show you. You can spawn these minions and they literally do so much damage, and they are somehow using Sanguine Art, which is just insane. They deal a ton of damage and it's really good for PvP to disguise yourself. I love this fruit. The price is 940,000 or 1,275 Robux. I think that's fully worth it though. I will be ranking this in the great tier. The next fruit is the goat, the mythical magma fruit. I have awakened this in a previous video, and I must say this fruit is insane. The visuals are so sick, and the damage is straight up just crazy. Like, let me show you all the moves real quick. This fruit is a Logia, and some believe it to be better than even Buddha for grinding. The thing is, you can walk on water with this, and it is really good for sea monster hunting. I've seen people use this for Leviathan. This fruit costs 960,000 or 1,300 Robux, which is worth every single dollar or Robux. This is the first fruit of the video, which will go in the best. Next up we have Quake, which is another fruit I have awakened, and I must say this is one of the most underrated fruits in the game. The visuals go straight to best, and now for the damage. It's pretty good too. I just overall love this fruit. The price of it is 1 million or 1,500 Robux. It is quite expensive, but I believe it's worth it. Since I love the visuals so much, I will be putting this fruit in the great tier. Next up we have the best grinding fruit in the entire game. Before even starting, this is going straight to best tier. Okay, firstly, no need for visuals for this. The reason I won't rank visuals is because no one really uses the moves. The main thing you do with it is transform and use either a fighting style or a sword, and literally nothing can damage you. This fruit costs 1,200,000 or 1,650, and I believe this is the fruit you should spend your money on if you're going to spend your money at all. Next up we have the love fruit. The visuals are amazing on this. The damage is good on this too. You can ride a flamingo too and it gives a ton of health. The price to pay is 1,300,000 or 1,700. I will be ranking this in the great tier. The next fruit we are ranking is the spider. I love the visuals on this. The damage is really good too. I'll show you guys a few seconds of all the moves on this. And now for the flight. It's okay. You can attach strings to the clouds and go forward floating. I do think there are much better flights. Like even Falcon can beat this if we're going to talk about flight. The damage, visuals are pretty good on this fruit. The price is 1,500,000 or 1,800 Robux. I will be ranking this in the great tier due to the insane damage it does in the visuals. Next up we have the sound fruit. There is a tempo meter for this one. And firstly the damage test this time. It's insane. There are a lot of people in one place but still it does a ton of damage. This fruit is really new to the game and was added last update. The visuals go straight to best tier. I'll show you guys all the moves real quick, and those are just insane. The flight is pretty cool too. This probably isn't your ideal grinding fruit though. You can use it for PvP though. It costs 1,700,000 or 1,900 Robux. This fruit will be going straight to great tier. Next up we have the phoenix fruit. There is a long journey to awakening this. You gotta unlock a raid then do the raids to awaken. Firstly I straight up love the visuals. And the flight is straight up stunning. And now for the damage test 3.8k, 4.9k, 4k. The swift flight does damage too. That's alright damage. This fruit costs 1,800,000 or 2,000 Robux. This will go straight to great tier. The next fruit is portal. I have used this way too much for PvP. I won't say it's a good grinding fruit, but it is one of the best PvP fruits out there. The visuals are really sick. This is mostly used for combos so it would be unjust to do a damage test. You can teleport to different locations with it which is really cool. This fruit costs 1,900,000 or 2,000 Robux, which is worth it since you literally teleport all around the map. I don't care if I'm biased but this is going to go straight to the best tier. Next up we have rumble fruit. The damage is good. We can't really see that much since it's on the first island, but the visuals are going straight to best tier. Like literal clouds are coming out of the sky with the ability which is so cool. And now this is lightning falling out of the sky which is insane. The price of this fruit is 2,100,000 or 2,100 Robux. This fruit is really good for PvP. This fruit will go straight to great tier because of the visuals and how good it is at PvP. Next up we have pain fruit. Every single pain fruit user is sad since this fruit still hasn't gotten a rework. I did fully unlock this fruit in a video, and it was insane. The range on this is crazy too. The visuals are good, however they could be better. I still love the moves though. The price of this is 2,300,000 or 2,200. I personally think it should be worth less. This will be going in good tier. The next fruit is blizzard. The damage is insane on this. I'll show you the damage of all the moves real quick. Bro, the flight does damage and it looks so sick. The visuals are a big W for this fruit. The amount of people I've seen using this fruit for PvP is insane. The damage is really good on this fruit, and the visuals are insane. The cost of the fruit is 2,400,000 or 2,250, which is worth it in my opinion only if you are going to be using it for PvP. I will rank this fruit in great. Next up we have the mythical gravity fruit. I'll show you the damage of all the moves now. The flight is really cool too. The visuals were insane on that. This fruit will put you back 2,500,000 or 2,300 Robux. This will be going to the good tier. Next up we have mammoth fruit. This is a quite recent fruit too. Let's test out the damage. The M1s on this hit hard. Now for the transformation. The visuals are straight up the best. The damage is really good on this too. The abilities do a ton of damage. And the best move of all, the stampede. This move by itself might take this straight to the best tier. The reason for that is because you can use this on sea beasts, terror sharks, and it does a ton of damage. I just love the moves and even more the visuals. This fruit is actually decent for grinding too since it has M1s and it is pretty good for PvP. The price is 2,700,000 or 2,350 Robux. This fruit will be going to the best tier. The next fruit we have is the brand new T-Rex. I have actually recorded a video on this too, but I was rolling fruits until I got it. Now for the visuals, it's the best tier. Now let's do a damage test. This also has M1s like mammoth and the abilities deal a ton of damage. Now for the transformatin, and that was pretty sick. Now let's test out the moves properly. They do a lot of damage. This fruit costs 2,700,000 or 2,350 Robux. I do think the mammoth visuals were better. I don't know, I just like that red a lot. I will be ranking this in the great tier. Next up we have the mythical dough fruit. I have made a trading video on this and the offers we got were insane. Firstly for the damage test. So this guy doesn't have any stats in Blox fruit, so it doesn't do much damage, but this fruit is actually straight up insane. And I love the visuals. This is insane for PvP and it is a Logia, so it's pretty good for grinding too. The price of it is 2,800,000 or 2,400 Robux. Some of you will be really mad if I didn't put it in the best tier.
So let's give it the place it deserves. Shadow is up next. The visuals are extremely good for this fruit. I have actually used this a lot when I used to grind. It is a Logia and the visuals on this is insane. The umbrage is my favorite move here as it deals damage and you can fly at the same time. The rest of the moves do a ton of damage too. This fruit costs 2,900,000 or 2,425 Robux. It is pretty good for grinding and PvP. I will be ranking this in the great tier. If you guys want to be a mod or admin in my Discord server, then join it in the description. Next up we have Venom Fruit. Firstly, the visuals. All the moves do look really sick and well designed. It is good for grinding as well as PvP. Now for the damage test. The first move does alright damage, and that second move does a lot of damage. The rest of the moves do good damage too. I really like the flight for this since you are literally flying and damaging your opponent at the same time. This fruit costs 3 million or 2,450 Robux. This will be going
in the great tier. The next fruit is Control, which is going to be receiving a rework soon. Firstly, the visuals are pretty basic, but I must say the Gamma Rush has sick visuals and the damage on that is insane. However, the first two moves are kinda garbage if you ask me. The teleport move TPs you ahead, which is really basic. I don't know, this fruit isn't really doing it for me. It is pretty decent at PvP though, but only if you use it with a combo. It costs 3,200,000 or 2,500 Robux. This will be going in the good tier. Spirit is up next. This fruit is kinda complicated, but there are a ton of pet things which come with their own advantages. They do look kind of poorly designed though. Now the damage test. It does do really good damage, and bro, the visuals are something else on this. I really love how it looks, and the two floating things next to you are just so sick. If you don't know, those are the sun and a lightning cloud. Now let's test out the flight. It's called Sky Ruler, which is a sick name for it. Price is 3,400,000 or 2,550 Robux. This will be going in the great tier. Now it's for the fruit which every Blox Fruits player is waiting for. And we're talking about the dragon fruit. They have been hyping up this update for ages, but it's taking too long. I did make a video on everything that will be added, so you can watch that next if you want. Okay, the update isn't even here, and these moves are doing insane damage. Let's run through all the moves real quick. The visuals on that look so sick. And now for the transformation. If you're saying that a whole dragon floating around in the sky doesn't look sick, then I have no idea what to say to you. Because this looks crazy. I really wonder what it will look like after the rework. It costs 3,500,000 or 2,600 Robux. This will be going straight to the best tier. Next up we have a really spammy fruit, which is the leopard. Now let's test it out. The damage of the abilities is kind of meh. The visuals, however, are just crazy on this. I really like how it all looks. The reason the moves don't do a ton of damage though is because you're meant to spam with it. This fruit costs 5 million or 3,000 Robux. I will be ranking this in the best tier. Lastly, we have the mythical Kitsune fruit, which is brand new to the game. Oh my god, don't even get me started on the visuals. These are the abilities before transformation, and that is insane damage. And bro, the visuals, I just can't get over them. Now that transformation was sick. Let's test out the moves again. And that M1 is insane. The abilities deal a ton of damage. This is the new fastest fruit in Blox Fruits if you use a pilot helmet. And you can also run on water with it. This will cost you 8 million or 4,000 Robux. This will be going straight to the best tier. I just love this fruit. Thank you guys so much for watching.